Our era of peculiar economic figures continues as the cost of goods spiral globally.
The highest inflation in 41 years.
Back in double figures.
Touching a fresh record high.
Higher than expected Japanese inflation.
And if the early data we've seen is any guide, tomorrow's quarterly update from the ABS will show inflation in Australia at a high we haven't seen in more than 30 years. Let's zoom in on what's happening now though, and rewind to March, when the boffins in Treasury thought inflation would have peaked by now at 4.25%. They now think it'll keep rising from here to 7.75% by December, and then start falling below 3% just in time for the next election. A big chunk of that inflation rise is from rises in the price of electricity, expected to jump 20% late this year and another 30% next financial year. The budget warns further rent rises are on the way too. And that's not great news for a government that came to office with this as a central refrain.
Everything is going up.
Going up.
Going up.
Going up.
Except people's wages.
So let's look at wages, because while annual inflation was above 6% at the end of June, wage growth was less than half that, at 2.6%. There's some improvement in that anticipated, but the budget thinks wages growth will flatline and it'll start with a 3 for years, which means the government's relying on inflation coming down below that to deliver workers a real wage rise. And inflation can be erratic, especially when there are shocks like wars and natural disasters. As the budget notes, domestic disruptions, including the recent floods, will test our resilience further. It seems our resilience is getting tested more and more often. Since Black Summer, we then had flooding in 2021, and this year in February, in March, in July, and October. In a changing climate, are natural disasters and conflicts the anomaly, or something we should start regarding as normal?